Hey everybody, welcome to Heart Magic. David here. I went to a new cardiologist recently, and this is post stem cells and post left ventricle shrinking, and I like the guy. He seems very knowledgeable. There was a tiny thing. There was a tiny thing that I was just like, and he had the nerve to say that my left ventricle shrinking was probably not because of the stem cells. And I just wanted to laugh. I know for a fact that there's other factors, my own personal drive, exercising, eating better, sleeping more, not drinking like an idiot. All of these factors, not smoking, marijuana, all of these things just add up to make sure that my heart is actually like fine. We take for granted a lot of those things, but if there's one thing that I don't take for granted, it's the fact that I put stem cells into my arm and it almost immediately felt better, kind of thing. Like it was just like it's been growing and growing. So I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know if he watches his channel, but hey, buddy, I thought that was funny. I'm making a video today because I want to actually kind of follow up on something that's like, my next step is twofold. One is get my blood pressure down. I've said this before, and guess what? It's going down. I actually have consistently lower numbers. Today in fact, it was in the 120s, high 120s, but it's in the 120s. So I have like 10 more points that I need to drop. I've also been fasting more. I've been losing weight. I've been eating less and just like kind of birdie eating. And I have to tell you, I'm happy I used to gorge on food, and I am not doing that right now. And the other thing about it is that, the fasting, I want to commit to that. And so I think that is going to be the key to, one, getting my blood pressure down. One thing that I've noticed is I've been losing weight and getting to higher gains in health. My metabolism, I can tell when my metabolism is working better. It's like my weight is consistently at a certain spot. I don't feel bloated. I feel like my body is just perfectly fine not eating or feeling addicted to sugars or anything like that. It feels very fine and rested. So I'm loving the fasting. I'm almost afraid of losing too much fat, because what I want to do is the thing that everybody has to this point said is impossible, which is to shrink the valve and to shrink my aorta. These two things, everybody has said you must get surgery. And I'll be honest, this is the one section where I'm like, maybe I will have to get surgery. The valve itself, it's bicuspid. I love it for what it is, but it's janky. So the other thing is that the aorta is expanding along with the valve, and this is no bueno. So I have to shrink it, and I know that a lot of people say that it's impossible to do, but I want to try it. Now, my friend who had gotten stem cells, who kind of inspired me, what up, Tim? He got it 3 ways. He got the IV drip, he got it injected all over his body the second round, and then the third round, they actually stopped his heart, and they stopped it 2 times, did 2 injections with stem cells. Fascinating. He said he was awake, and all that good stuff. That is expensive to do, by the way. So I'm trying to figure out how can I be a cheapo about this and make sure that it gets done. So even if I could get some kind of like lower cost to getting that done, I question whether or not I actually want to do that, because 1, they have to stop your heart. 2, you have to actually be in a hospital, and I just don't know if it's necessary. I really don't know if it's necessary. So I kind of want to take the procedure and leave that as like a last resort before doing surgery. I'm going to be doing stem cells up until I really truly know that I need surgery. So the way that what my hope is to get to a new plane where my aorta and my valve has shrank along with the left ventricle, and it's shrunk enough to where it's strong enough tissue to where, and my blood pressure's down and all of that stuff. I've had several doctors say that if I get my blood pressure down, it's possible that the valve could shrink. It's possible that the aorta can shrink. And people do get these types of gains with medications. I'm not poo-pooing medications because I know that they have, entirely, I know that they have side effects and I don't want to take them. So they are Some people do shrink their left ventricle. Some people do kind of shrink their valve, because if the heart is expanded, it's stressed out, it's going to expand. The bad thing about the tissue, though, is does it shrink down? You've seen stretch marks on people's sides. I mean, when skin stretches, skin stretches. And the same can be said for probably the heart and all that stuff. That's where stem cells are such a wild card important factor, is because if I can stimulate stem cells either naturally or from external sources, the tissues can heal. And that means that I don't need surgery yet. And I would love to never get surgery. I'm very aware that I may need surgery one day. For now, I'm fine playing this little game here where I'm coming up with new ways to try to heal my heart, because I think that at least from a patient standpoint and from a person who has a serious situation on their hands, I don't know, I'm kind of pushing the limits here, you know. The medical industry, it does not have access to stem cells. They can't even really talk about it much. And, you know, it's not something that they could recommend. And they do these clinical trials and blah, 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 which is great. But nobody's actually, you know, you can't go down to CVS and, you know, get this done. So, not that that's the goal. But I want to actually try to shrink my heart valve. I may be able to do it naturally. That's the crazy thing. What if I kept my body weight at a proper level and gave my body huge healing sessions and was able to exist just fine without it? I probably would still get the stem cells. So that's where it brings me to where this video is leading to, which is I have the next two phases of where Heart Magic is going. That's where we're at. So the first phase is I'm going to be implementing natural heart healing methods, basically extreme fasting. I'll get to that in a second. Followed by that, the goal is to shrink with that. The other goal is to get stem cells again. Now, again, stem cells are expensive as it is. I've got, you know, things are back from the pandemic, and, you know, things are moving for me. So the hope is that I can get there to do it by December, December or January. And, you know, that'd be like a 2-year mark from when I first got them. And that's pretty good, in my opinion, considering how challenging this is. So the way that I'll be injecting those will be in certain spots in the body. I'll go over all that later. For now, I got to do the other way, which is a little bit more disciplined, which is I'm not going to eat for at least a week. I would like to stretch it to 2 weeks. That's why I'm not so, I'm like, oh, okay, this stuff really works, fasting. I ate a cheeseburger yesterday. I'm actually kind of preparing myself. I need to figure out when I'm going to do it. Because I'm happy slowly losing the weight, but if I'm truly not going to eat, I think that there is a point where, I don't think 2 weeks would do it, but there is a point where you hit, it's like, okay, there's no more body fat, and you're not consuming fat, we're going to start taking energy from the muscles, and then you lose muscle mass. And, I mean, I'm no Arnold, but, you know, I have been going to the gym consistently, and I don't want to reduce my strength level. Now, when you are fasting, David Blaine has showed us one thing, which is if you sit in the same spot, you're going to start getting kidney and other problems. You need to move around when you're extreme fasting, and so I plan to do that. I'm going to be walking, just doing light walking and maybe some band exercises or something like that. Very light stuff, just to challenge my body a little bit while I'm doing the fasting. And then to keep my minerals balanced, fasters actually have quite a fascination with this stuff. It's minerals that you just add to your drink once a day, and voila. So that's the goal. So that is the true next phase, which is don't eat for an extended period of time. The longest I've ever not eaten for was 2 days, and that was when I was a teenager. I did do a single day fast recently, but I was still very addicted to sugars, and it was kind of a lot. And by the end of the day, I was like, you know, I wanted to eat. So today I am not in that position. I have a much better like metabolism kind of going. And so I'm pretty confident that if I just do it, I'll do it. I have a feeling about day 3, that's my estimation. People say it's anywhere from day 3 to 5. You go through a withdrawal when your body kicks into stops eating sugar and starts eating fat, like primarily. They call it ketosis, but it's also like you could get the carb flu. You could get a lack of carbs and a lack of everything. Your body can just get very like bleh. And so I'm not looking forward to that. But otherwise, they say that if you can get past that day, and then there's other stretches where it's like you truly don't feel hungry after a certain point. You just don't. Your body just stops expecting food and stops communicating that, which is interesting. But it's comfortable. They say it's not like there's a problem and you're just like blind to it. So you're still gonna want to eat. So that's my goal. I'm gonna be figuring out a good way to implement that. If you want to follow along with this, put in the comments there. I want to watch your fast session, and I'll make sure to record it. Again, I'm going to try to time it around when I have a heart scan. So I have to figure out what that looks like. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I think any 2-week stretch of fasting is going to really give my heart a break from not having excess minerals and not having to do anything really excessive. And it's just going to rest for just like, So 2 weeks is a long time. But who knows what could happen, All right, I'll leave it on that. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy the channel. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.